How much do you pay for electricity each month? Have you ever wondered why we pay for something that should be free? Today I'm going to tell you a true story. A great man did the impossible, bringing free electricity to the world. The man was Nikola Tesla, a name that is not familiar to anyone who loves invention. He had a crazy idea, to light up the action with energy that costs nothing. And he didn't just dream. In 1899, in Colorado Springs, Tesla turned on a light far away from the dam without a single wire, as he documented in his notebooks. From the tiny sparks dancing on a cat's fur in Croatia in 1856 to the dangerous top of the Wardenclyffe Tower in New York in 1901, he was making his dream come true. A world with no bills, no wires, no waste. But then it all stopped. Why? Tesla couldn't fail because something bigger was blocking his path. Can you guess what it was? From a boy playing with sparks, he became a man shaking the earth with crazy experiments. Questions that are not just history, but the key to answering. How could we have lived differently? Don't look away, because there are more incredible things ahead. From experiments that made the whole town stop, to secrets that were cleared up that you've never heard before. All of them will make you wonder, if Tesla was right, where are we going wrong today? Let's start in 1899, when Tesla arrived in Colorado Springs, a small town in Colorado, USA, with a mission to change how we use electricity forever. He left the bustling streets of New York behind, carrying an idea everyone thought was crazy. Electricity could travel through the air, no wires needed, and best of all, free for everyone. He set up a laboratory in the middle of an empty expanse, a simple wooden building with a tin roof, but inside it was a world of strange science. At the heart of the lab was what he called the magnifying coil, a 52-foot-tall beast wrapped in hundreds of loops of gleaming copper wire, humming with life when powered on. I picture him standing there, dressed in a sharp black suit, pen in hand, eyes blazing as he checked every detail of the machine he believed would unlock the future. His small team of young engineers scurried around, pulling cables, testing gear, while Tesla directed them with a low, commanding voice. Make it precise. Everything has to be perfect. One summer night in 1899, with the sky pitch black and starless, Tesla decided it was time for his biggest test. He stepped up to the control panel, took a deep breath, and flipped the switch. What happened next was unreal. A 130-foot bolt of man-made lightning shot out from the top of the coil, ripping through the darkness with a blinding glow, lighting up the plains like daylight for a split second. The sound was like thunder, a deafening boom that rattled the lab's windows, while tiny sparks sprayed from the machinery like fireworks. The townsfolk nearby, simple farmers, weary miners after a long day, and curious kids, rushed outside, staring up at the strange light in the distance. They swore the lamps in their homes, miles from the lab, flickered on without wires, just the air and ground carrying the energy like some unexplainable magic. The next day, the Colorado Springs Gazette reported, "Tesla's lightning bolts outshone any storm we've seen. Is this the future or a trick of nature?" Tesla didn't pause to read the headlines. He scribbled furiously in his notebook, his handwriting shaky with excitement. "I've harnessed the power of the Earth." He believed the Earth wasn't just our home. It was a giant generator, ready to send energy everywhere if he could figure out how to control it. He wrote that he'd sent power 26 miles, lighting up 200 lamps without a single wire. A claim that sounds like a fairy tale in the modern age, recorded in his notebook, though he didn't leave precise measurements for later scientists to fully verify. Locals told stories of wonder. They saw lights flashing from afar, heard booms echoing from the lab, like Tesla was waking up a hidden force beneath the ground. A boy named Tommy, living a few miles away, told the paper, "My table lamp lit up without being plugged in. I ran outside and the sky looked like it was on fire." A widow named Mary, a farmer, said, "I thought it was the end of the world. The light from his tower made my whole field glow. I feel the ground shake just imagining it." Tesla standing amid his self-made storm of energy, pen in hand, eyes locked on the bolts he summoned from thin air. He wasn't just tinkering with science, he was rewriting how we understand power, turning the Earth into a wireless grid he could command. He didn't want to stop at a few glowing lamps. He wanted the whole world lit up without a penny charged. So why, if he pulled that off in a little town like Colorado Springs, are you still paying an electric bill every month? Why don't we see machines like that everywhere? He proved the impossible was possible. So what stopped that dream from spreading? The answer doesn't lie in Tesla's failure. It's in what came next, when he decided to take his idea to a scale no one had dared before. Tesla knew Colorado Springs was just the beginning. To bring free electricity to the entire planet, he needed a bigger stage, a structure capable of sending power across oceans to every home in the world. In 1901, he arrived in Long Island, New York, and started building Wardenclyffe Tower, a creation unlike anything ever seen. It stood 187 feet tall, taller than the Statue of Liberty, crowned with a massive copper dome that gleamed under the sun like a beacon of the future. He convinced J.P. Morgan, a financial titan with near limitless power, to invest $150,000, a fortune back then, pitching it as a revolution in wireless communication, a way to send messages across the Atlantic without cables. As documented in Tesla, Inventor of the Future by Margaret Cheney. But here's what Morgan didn't know. Tesla had a bolder plan. Wardenclyffe wasn't just for messages. It was designed to pump free energy across continents, turning the Earth into a giant wireless power grid. I see Tesla standing on that Long Island field, his coat flapping in the wind, holding blueprints packed with formulas and sketches, barking orders to his crew. Higher, we need to reach the ionosphere. He'd tested smaller models before, metal spheres sparking in his New York workshop, tiny coils humming like scientific instruments. But Wardenclyffe was a leap forward. A tower meant to send energy through the ionosphere, the upper layer of the atmosphere he believed was the key to delivering electricity worldwide without wires. Inside, he installed a magnifying transmitter, a mechanical monster with hundreds of copper coils and massive capacitors, connected to a network of deep underground rods linking it to the Earth. In the first tests, locals said they saw lights flicker miles away, heard a strange hum from the tower, like Tesla was shaking both the sky and the ground at once. One worker who helped build it recalled, "When it ran, my hair stood on end. The light from the tower blinded me for a moment." Tesla wrote in his journal, bursting with excitement, "I will light the whole world from here." I can almost hear his laugh ringing out over the wind, the laugh of a man who knew he was touching something colossal. Lamps miles away blinked in the dark, signals pulsed through the ground like a living dream's heartbeat. But that dream hung by a thread between reality and illusion. Morgan, with a businessman's cold logic, wanted quick profits from communication, not a wild scheme for free energy. Tesla pleaded in letters, pouring his heart into every word, "Just a little more, and we'll change the world." Letters preserved at the Morgan Library in New York. I feel his desperation, like I'm standing beside him, watching workers walk away as Morgan pulled his $150,000 in 1903, leaving the tower silent amid the empty field. By 1906, it was a ghost, no hum of machines, no flickers of light. And by 1917, it was torn down for scrap to pay debts, as reported by the New York Times. Why did such a grand idea die? Not because Tesla was wrong, but because Morgan and the world didn't want it to live. Morgan wasn't the only one blocking Tesla. He was part of a bigger system. As a titan of the copper and electricity industries, Morgan owned stakes in wire companies, power plants, and wired grids across America. Free energy wasn't just a threat. It was a bomb that could blow up his business empire. I picture Tesla standing before his unfinished tower, shouting into the cold wind, "This is for everyone, not your wallet." While Morgan sat in his plush New York office, eyeing ledgers and deciding profit mattered more than a dream. But Morgan didn't act alone. He represented an economic system built on selling electricity, not giving it away. Tesla wasn't just fighting one man. He was up against a world where power was gold and every watt had a price. If Wardenclyffe had succeeded, electric companies would have collapsed, millions invested in wired grids would have turned to junk. And Morgan couldn't let that happen. Then came Guglielmo Marconi, delivering a knockout blow. In 1901, while Tesla struggled with Wardenclyffe, Marconi used Tesla's own wireless ideas, specifically patent number 645,576, to send a radio signal across the Atlantic, winning the Nobel Prize in 1909 and becoming a global hero. Tesla roared in interviews, "He used 17 of my patents." And he wasn't wrong. The US Supreme Court in 1943 finally ruled Tesla the true inventor of radio, but it was too late. He'd lost everything. I feel the injustice for him, a man who gave away a grand idea only to watch someone else claim the glory. Marconi didn't just steal fame, he proved the world would accept a small piece of Tesla's vision, radio, but not the whole dream, free energy. Tesla sued, but had no money to fight. He could only watch Marconi get rich while Wardenclyffe was dismantled. If that tower had worked, we might have dodged coal pollution, tangled wires, and those bills that make you wince. A world Tesla envisioned, stopped by the short-term greed of men like Morgan and Marconi. Tesla didn't give up even after Wardenclyffe fell. He kept working, kept dreaming, but life grew harsher. He lived in cheap New York hotels, ate sparingly, and sometimes had just pennies left. In 1943, he died alone in a shabby room at the New Yorker hotel, penniless but unbroken. I see him lying there, eyes still bright with unfinished ideas, clutching scribbled blueprints until his last breath. Hours after he passed, the FBI stormed in, ransacking the room and seizing every paper, a fact noted in declassified FBI files from 2016. Why the rush? Rumors spread like wildfire. Tesla left behind blueprints for a wireless energy system, maybe the key to finishing his dream. In 1951, some papers reached the Tesla Museum in Belgrade, but much vanished without a trace, per the museum's official report. He'd declared in his 1900 article the problem of increasing human energy. One day, the Earth will hum with energy. Think back to Colorado Springs, lamps glowing miles away, a feat locals saw and papers recorded. A woman named Sarah said, "I was cooking and my kitchen lamp lit up. I ran outside and saw his tower glowing." Wardenclyffe showed promise too, lights flickering from afar, a hum echoing, though Tesla ran out of time and money to perfect it. Physicist James Coram recreated Tesla's experiments in 1986, reporting in proceedings of the IEE that his resonance system worked. He sent energy through the air on a small scale, and with today's tech, it could grow bigger. Coram wrote, "Tesla wasn't crazy, he was just ahead of his time." So why don't we have free energy? It's not hidden. Tesla's papers are scattered, some lost, some unstudied. I imagine those dusty pages in a secret archive somewhere, scribbled lines holding answers we should have had centuries ago. This isn't a cheap mystery, it's the real legacy of a man left behind by his era. But Tesla's story doesn't end in shadows. It lives on today. Look around. Your phone charges on a wireless pad thanks to Qi-Tech. That's Tesla's footprint in modern life. Witricity in the US sends power a few feet through the air, noted by MIT Technology Review in 2007. They use resonant coils, an idea Tesla tested over 100 years ago. NASA's experimenting with solar arrays in space, beaming energy to Earth without wires, a dream Tesla penned in 1900. NASA SP509 from 2020 says they're on that path. In 2018, Visiv in Texas built a small tower to send wireless power a few hundred meters. Results were promising, though not enough to light a city yet. In California, off-grid homes use wireless tech to charge batteries. Tiny steps, but proved Tesla wasn't wrong. He predicted in a 1926 Collier's magazine interview, "Energy will flow everywhere, no wires needed." He got the timing wrong, we're decades late. But his vision was spot on. Marin Soljacic at MIT in 2007 lit a bulb a few meters away without wires, admitting in Science Journal, "Tesla saw this before us all." I get chills thinking about it. A man from the 19th century mapped a future we're only now touching. So why is it taking so long? Money's a big hurdle. Building a Wardenclyffe today costs billions, and companies want fast profits, not long-term revolutions. Safety's another. Wireless energy could disrupt signals or pose risks if mishandled. And scale, how do you send power to every home without millions of transmitters? These are the same walls Tesla hit, and they're still standing. But I feel hope. His crazy idea isn't dead. It's growing with each small step. Picture a future with no bills, no wires, Every light you flip on costs nothing, and you just think of Tesla. Do you think we'll get there soon? Or will these barriers keep holding us back? Tesla's tale haunts me, a man with a dream bigger than his world. If Wardenclyffe had worked, we could have clean, free energy. No coal smog, no ugly grids, no bills to grimace at. I'm angry Morgan pulled the plug. He chose profit over our future. I'm sad Marconi stole the spotlight, a guy who built fame on Tesla's ideas. But I'm amazed at Tesla. He never gave up, even when the world turned against him. Today, amid a climate crisis with fiercer storms, longer blackouts, and a planet choking on pollution, he's whispering through time, "I showed you the way. What have you done with it?" We're not done with Tesla. His legacy lives, calling us to act. If he was right, where did we go wrong? Don't look away. From experiments that stopped a town in its tracks to secrets buried in lost papers, this story will make you ask, what can we do today to not miss this chance again?